This place is part of your heritage. This place is part of your dream.
People of the Bible are in charge of the land of the Bible.
I feel very strongly that there have been so many times in history when Christians have looked the other way when Jewish people were being attacked.
We will ultimately see the world change.
God's purposes for Israel just march on, don't they?
Shalom, hello again. Welcome back to our Voices from Israel series. We're taking little parts of our tour and we're traveling around and we're talking with some very interesting people. Later in the program, you're going to meet Dov Weinstock, quite a character called Dubak. He's a West Bank settler, so-called. Tony, where is the tour going to go today?
We are headed to the tree planting area in the Golani Junction, which is a very popular place for our tourists. Then to Cana, where the water was turned to wine. Megiddo, where we hear a teaching that you have, and then to Haifa, to the port city. But first, we're going to go to the Sea of Galilee.
So, the location at the Sea of Galilee.
The sun rises above the clouds to another quiet, peaceful morning by the Sea of Galilee. We enjoy the beauty of this area by staying at Nafginisar, just outside the city of Tiberias. But it is time to go to a place where our people get a chance to leave a lasting, living reminder of their visit to the Holy Land.
Well, this is tree planting at the Golani Junction in Israel. Our people buy these trees. They buy the privilege of planting a tree in the ground with their own hands, and also the money they give helps to care for the tree and water it along. And someday it'll be a tall tree and be here in the kingdom after all. They could come here and find their tree. This card they get, certificate, has a serial number on it, and it's absolutely an individual tree. I came here to look at the tree I planted for my younger son, Aaron, years and years ago. It's much taller than he is now, and it's prospering. This land needs the trees. Trees are very important to a land. When the Turks had this land for 4 centuries, they cut out so many trees to make railroad ties, and they didn't plant any, and turned the place into a swampland for a while. The Israelis have recovered it and planted 230 million trees.
Our group joined in the effort and lined up to buy one or more trees. Each person had a different reason why they decided to plant a tree in Israel.
It's nice to have trees here, you know. It's truly changed this country. It's changed a lot since I've been over here at earlier times, so it's having a significant effect on, I think, the weather and the climate and the quality of air. All of them are improved by having trees on it. So
I'm planting a tree in memory of our son that passed away in 2000. He was 31 years old, and I want to plant it here in Israel because I know this is the Lord's land, and it'll mean a lot to us to have it planted here.
We're getting ready to plant a tree for ourselves and one for our daughter. And again, just the experience of it and being able to know that one day they'll still be here throughout eternity, I hope.
I'm planting it for my husband who made this trip possible for me, because he made my dream come true. I would never got here to Israel without him, and I just want to do it.
After ordering our trees, we gather in the field to hear about the reforestation effort in Israel. And during this time, Israeli fighter jets zoom over our heads.
And what you hear is F-16 airplanes, which we got from the USA. I myself, I'm a colonel in the Air Force, and I know something about it. My son is also in the Air Force, so.
planted a tree we're going to plant one for ourselves and for my great-grandmothers and my grandmother and my mom and my aunt and my cousin. And it was just because they need trees here and they need the money, and it would just be something nice to do for Israel and nice for us because we have a memory of.
Now that we have done our part to revitalize some of the natural beauty of the Holy Land, we return to the bus and head for the place where Jesus performed his first miracle, Cana. Here Zola says the priestly blessing over a couple celebrating their wedding anniversary.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'ir panav elecha v'chunecha, Yaseh Adonai panav elecha v'yaseim l'cha shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you. May the Lord turn his countenance upon you and give you peace. And here's for another 50 years.
After a smile and a kiss, it's time to say goodbye to Cana and get back on the road again. Next we go to the town where the Messiah grew up, Nazareth. This crowded modern city is not at all like the simple town here in Jesus' day. As we position ourselves on a high vantage point to get a better view of the city, Zola and our Israeli tour guide Zvi talks about some of the more recent events to happen here, especially the tension between Muslims and Christians due to the close proximity of their two shrines. Once a place where tourists would come, shop, and spend some time, now Nazareth is merely a quick stop on our tour. Next we go to a place that has both a rich past and an eventful future, Megiddo.
Okay, the Battle of Armageddon. When we're here, of course, we talk about Armageddon. We're in the, actually in the city or pile of cities, which was sort of the toll booth of the valley. When you came from Egypt up the Via Maris, the road by the sea, turned inland to go and trade with the Mesopotamians, why you had to pass through here, and these folks would give you levy something on you for using the roads in the valley and so on. Maybe give you a room for the night, whatever. But whoever controlled this city controlled the western end to the valley, which is key. If you came the other way, you still, because of the way the mountains are in Israel, you just didn't want to cross over that central spine, so you went through this flat valley. It's the same reason that they're going to bivouac troops here at Armageddon. It's a flat, fertile valley, plenty of water and so on. And you'd move your caravan or whatever it was across this valley, pass through this toll gate, so to speak, at the end of the valley, going the other way. So it was a key strategic location, not only for trade, but for defense and so forth. So we have a pile of 20 civilizations here. And so the battle at the, what's popularly called the end of the world will happen here at Armageddon. But let me stress, there's more than one front to Armageddon. There's actually 5 battles that come together at Armageddon, because Daniel 11 teaches us about kings of the north and of the south. They're closer in. I rather think they're more like Syria, Egypt, that kind of close in enemy of Israel, which will try to take a spoil knowing big armies are coming. Those are 2 fronts which I think the Antichrist will handle. I'm thinking that the battle is an attack on the Antichrist, who is occupying Jerusalem ever since he went in and blasphemed in the temple site. He has held that city, and you know, the Chinese were watching, the king of the East. When they see the Jewish people bolt from Jerusalem, when he claims that he's the God of Jerusalem, and they won't have it, they're out of there, they start to think he's not God. The Israelis don't think he's God. Maybe he's vulnerable, and they start to march. People usually say China, but it does say kings, plural, and we wonder if it's not China, India, some kind of reconstituted Japan. A lot of the countries will be different in character, obviously, the tribulation, under the rule of the Antichrist, than they are now. And they evidently will turn against Israel. Not that they're friends of Israel now, to be honest with you. We live in the age when the tribulation period verse is fulfilled. ye shall be hated of all nations. This is said to Jesus' Israeli disciples, and sure enough, this one little nation, 6 million people, the only one in the world hated of all nations. Cuba has friends, North Korea has friends, France has friends, but Israel has no friends. And the Lord's prophecy is fulfilled. Well, and he goes on, verse 14, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. And then there's, imagine, even at a time like this, announcing the commencement of the battle of Armageddon, the Lord gives one verse to try and save some souls, which he still can. He says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. He appeals to the soldiers in those armies. You can still escape. God said, he does not suffer any to perish. But then the next verse is the dramatic one. Revelation 16:16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon.
We leave the ancient archaeology of Megiddo for the modern, industrialized city of Haifa, along the Mediterranean Sea, to continue Zola's teaching about Armageddon.
Teachings about Armageddon ordinarily concern the valley itself, and we have done that extensively, shown this 40-mile wide plain where the armies bivouac, evidently the armies of the King of the East versus the Antichrist armies. And it's the latter armies I'm interested in because they will get here largely by ship. They'll come in from the Mediterranean Sea, which is over here behind me to the west of the city, and they will dock in this splendid harbor. You could dock aircraft carriers there, and American carriers often refuel here in this harbor. They'll continue inland across the city of Haifa, and where the towers are in the distance, they will head out toward the eastern side until they come to where you see the houses stop and the planes start. That is the start of the Valley of Armageddon. So evidently they will arrive from Europe. Well, look, some will come in airplanes and land, I guess, at Ben Gurion Airport south of here in Tel Aviv. But you can't move that many troops by airplane. Big ships will come to the harbor. They move thousands of troops at once, and those troops will fight their way across the city, probably be met by the forces of the King of the East, even as they debark, and the battle will continue across that valley, just the edge of it we can see. Then they will fight inland to the town of Megiddo and on into the valley. The Antichrist forces, I believe, retreating south toward Jerusalem, as the armies of the eastern invader follow him down there to where they finally will battle for Jerusalem. And in that day, as it says in Zechariah 14:4, the Lord's feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which is next to Jerusalem on the east, and he'll stop that battle because, as he put it, if I had not come then, there would be no flesh saved.
Western values is to run away. It's bad here. They are killing us. Let's go to another place to make money.
Oh.
This is Western values.
For a biblical perspective on what is happening in Israel and the Middle East, ask for Zola's free monthly newsletter, The Levitt Letter. Call toll-free 1-800-WONDERS. Zola's new catalog describes his books, teaching tapes, and correspondence course. For Zola's free newsletter and catalog, please call 1-800-WONDERS.
Tours are still doing fine, Tony. In fact, they're recovering at this point, aren't they?
They are. We hear the frequent comment from our passengers, especially, you know, you have this tendency to think one way, and then once you experience it, it's totally something different. The comment that is continuous on our tours is, we didn't think it would be like this. It's so peaceful. We never had a moment's trouble.
Oh, sure. Well, look, over the time I've gone, which is 30 years, at no time was Israel as dangerous to go to as staying home would be. That is, Dallas or any city in the United States was always more dangerous than Israel, even at its worst times. So it's now the terrorism has abated, and it seems to be taking hold, at least the standoff over there, and tourists are returning, and that is very heartening. Now, Dov Weinstock, he's an unusual character. Members of his very family have been killed by Arab people over there, but he is still in touch with the land, staying where he is and getting along and making a life. And when we went to visit him, it was great, to tell you the truth. We tasted his olive oil and his hummus and his hospitality, which was terrific, and we heard some very, very interesting data about the Holy Land.
I came from Jerusalem 30 years ago, built my house here, and I was in charge of the land here. As I told you before, the time stopped from going on here. It's like in the Bible. You kill people with knives, you burn houses, you break pipes like they did to Abraham, to his well.
Yes.
Everything, the war is the same war here, and the land is the same land. If you don't take care of your land, somebody will take it.
You bought land from him.
We bought land only from rich people.
Oh.
You know, the rich people who bought the Western logic, money is important.
Yeah.
Good life is important, civil rights. Oh, you know what? They sold the land. The one who doesn't have money, who worked on the land, he doesn't work for money. He doesn't make anything. He works because this land was his grandfather.
Yeah.
And I'm talking with respect, with all the respect, on an Arab.
Yes.
The one who does it, he doesn't sell. The Arab who works on the land, and the Jew who will work on the land near him, we can live together if we'll forget politics. But it will never happen.
Couldn't I find, for the sake of argument, an intelligent Palestinian man like you with a beard and wisdom who is also telling his youngsters, this is your land?
He is right.
He's right?
He is right from his point of view. That's the problem.
But history...
That's why we don't have a solution.
But there's the truth, isn't there? I mean, the Jews really were here first.
They don't care. You know, it's like a seat in the stadium. You bought the ticket, and after 2,000 years you want to come back and to sit on your seat. That's what they claim.
I never heard of that.
You know.
Yeah.
They say, okay, it's true, but you came back. I'm here already. Sorry, too late. And I tell them it's not too late. He wrote it.
God gave the land to the Jews.
Yeah. This is our land from the Bible. We came here. It's true that the Jewish people is not connected too much to the land. It's true. And that's what I'm doing with the children. I'm trying to raise a new generation who is connected to the land.
Yes.
You saw the child and the two children?
Yes.
I don't move to the area without any child. Always with children.
Oh.
Always with children. We plan, we clean, we cook. I give them the connection to the land. They can't get it at home. They can't get it at school. Thank God, there are people who help me. Yeah, with their Western logic.
What does the Arab or the Muslim have against Western civilization, which is so much more comfortable and progressive, clean, medically advanced?
I tell you what, when you have more money, you are less religious.
That's interesting, yeah.
When you see beautiful women, you forget the rest. It's a culture war.
Oh.
Here it's a war. It's not between army and army, it's citizens against citizens. A war with Muslims, it's like a war in the Bible.
Yeah.
In the Bible, when you make a war, you kill everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Citizen, women.
That's right, yeah.
Citizen, women, the same thing is here. That's the war here. And that's what they do.
But it seems to me Israelis do not go out and murder Palestinians, just the other way.
Yes, I'll tell you why. We want to do it. We want to take revenge. But you have to notice that when they kill, we plant, we build. When you kill somebody, there is a little grave. When you build a house, plant tree, after you die, the tree remains.
Mm.
You hold the land. With dead, nobody can conquer this land if he is not on the land.
Okay, look, when the Americans won over Japan in World War II and Germany.
Yeah.
Beat them. Then we went in.
Yes.
Occupied for a while. It showed them democracy. There were no more I'm sure there were fanatics, but they didn't come out, and they changed. The country's changed.
It's true in Japan.
Yeah.
Here it's not Japan.
No.
Here it's not Japan. I told you something is, I don't know, you call it weird here on this land. Something is weird.
Yeah.
We are an immigration country. Jews are coming from all the world.
Yes.
Generally, when you're an immigration country, people are coming to improve their standard of living.
Yeah.
Here, people are coming from America to this place. When they go to work in the morning, they get stoned, if not shot.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're still coming.
Yes.
No logic. It's not logic. The connection here is another connection.
Does it make you think then of God and the Bible and the land grant, Abraham?
I blame him. I blame him.
It's his fault.
Well, could give me Saudi with oil, with,
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right.
He gave me stones with Arabs, with Christians, with all the world on this little land, but I love her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's almost a theme of our times to talk about peace, peace in Israel and so on. As the scripture says, the men will cry peace and sudden destruction will come upon them, or peace, peace when there is no peace. But, you know, the truth is peace is needed in far more climates in the world than in Israel. It's not very dangerous, and despite what the press says, it's relatively peaceful at its worst times. But still in all, people like Dubach are really putting peace into action. That is, he's living on the land, he's staying there, he's getting along, he's dealing with neighbors, he's living life the way that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob lived it in a way, and out in the same territory. And that must be God's will for a lot of people. Christian people can help. Think about Israel and Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Our offer on this program is the two-flag pin. This unique full-color pin proudly displays the unity of America and Israel. Whether you pin it to a hat, collar, or tie, you can share the importance of our nation's alliance. Ask for the two-flag pin. And you may also call toll-free for our colorful monthly newsletter, The Levitt Letter. This free publication includes Bible lessons, insightful news commentary, Hebrew lessons, and personal notes from Zola. Call 1-800-WONDERS. That's 1-800-966-3377. Or write to Zola, Box 12268, Dallas, Texas 75225. You can also see our Levitt letters, TV programs, and national airing schedule at www.levitt.com. Please remember, Zola Levitt Ministries depends on tax-deductible donations from viewers like you.
Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim, Sha'alu Shalom in the